So before we start reading, a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. So to help with our comprehension, we're going to use a few strategies. So this story that we're about to read is about being unique and how uniqueness can be helpful. So we have unique features as humans, and animals have unique features called adaptations. We also have adaptations too. So I want you to think about that and how that helps in the story. Okay, I want to go over our vocabulary words before we start, just so we remember and we're on the lookout listening for those words. So we have disbelief, dismay, fabulous, features, offered, splendid, unique, and watchful. Okay, so we worked on those words in vocabulary, and now we're going to be listening for them in the story. Another important word I want you to think about is called synonyms. Not cinnamon, like the spice that makes everything taste so good. This is synonyms, and it means words that have the same meaning. So they're two different words, but they can mean the same thing. So we are going to be listening for that. There's a couple of words in the story that I want you to be listening for also, because we're going to talk about what are synonyms for these words. And those words are going to be expanded, unharmed, and scale. So expanded, 3 syllables. Unharmed, 2 syllables. Scale, 1 syllable. So 3, 2, 1 syllables. We're going to be listening for those words in the story as well. All right, here we go. Inchworm's tail. The essential question is, what makes different animals unique? Read about how one animal uses its special features to solve a problem. Page 182. Long ago, Anant and his sister Annika went swimming. They swam all afternoon and became very tired. They were exhausted and climbed onto a large, flat rock to rest. Soon they fell asleep. A strange and mysterious thing happened as they slept. The rock beneath them grew and expanded until it reached the clouds. Anant awoke and looked around. "Sister, wake up," he cried in disbelief. "Am I dreaming, or are we among the clouds?" Annika rubbed her eyes. "You're not dreaming, brother. This rock has grown while we slept." The children looked around and saw fabulous blue sky and wonderful white clouds. The children were so high, Annika felt dizzy. Anant reached for a way to climb down, but he could not find a path. Anant and Annika started to cry. They felt fear and dismay. Boop! Turn the page, 184. At the top there is a hawk or eagle. Below, the villagers became worried. Where were the children? They searched the forest, meadows, river, and lakes. Then Isha, or Aisha, I'm going to say Isha. Then Isha, the village chief, looked around and noticed Hawk sitting on a tall tree branch. "Hawk, will you help us find Anant and Annika?" he asked. "You have sharp, watchful eyes and strong wings. They are your best features. Please use them to help us find the children." Hawk agreed to help and flew up into the sky. He tilted his head and squinted his eyes at the bright sunlight. When he was near the clouds, he spied the children on the rock. "Don't be afraid," said Hawk. "We will rescue you. We will rescue you." Hawk was unable to carry the children down the rock, so he gathered lots of food for them to eat. Then he brought large leaves to help keep them warm. Hawk wanted to make sure they were safe and unharmed. Boop! Page 185. Hawk flew down to the village and spoke to Aisha. What did I say? Isha? Isha. Isha called all the animals together and told them they needed to help They needed to help get the children down. He asked each animal to use its most special feature to climb the tall rock. Several tried and failed. Mouse's teeth were strong and unique, but they couldn't help her climb up the rock. Bear's huge claws were good for climbing up trees. However, they could not help him scale rocks. Mountain Lion's claws were sharp and powerful, but the rock was too slippery and he slid back down. Finally, a tiny voice filled with enthusiasm spoke up and offered to help. May I try, please? It's me, Tutok, the inchworm. Boop. Turn to the next page, 186. Looks like this. Inchworm showed them all how skillful she was at climbing. Hawk volunteered to carry Inchworm to the top of the rock. Then she could lead Anant and Annika down the giant mountain. Isha agreed to the plan. So Hawk carefully picked up Inchworm in his beak. Together they flew to the top of the rock where the children were waiting. Along the way, Inchworm planned for the trip down. Boop, page 187. It took almost a week for the three to climb down to the village. Inch by inch, Inchworm led the children carefully down the rocky slope. Every day, Hawk brought food to the children. Every day, he reappeared in the village with news for the villagers. Finally, Inchworm, Anant, and Annika reached the bottom of the rock. Everyone cheered and called Inchworm a hero. It was a glorious, splendid day. From this day on, said Isha, I renamed the big rock Tutok on Ula, after the brave Inchworm. The end. It says make connections in the box at the bottom. What unique features does Inchworm have? How does it help? What do your special features help you to do? So think about that. All right. So did you hear those words? The synonyms? So we're looking for possible synonyms for expanded, unharmed, and scale. So for expanded, I was thinking a synonym, a word that means the same thing, was to grow. Because in that paragraph on page 183, I'm going to go back for text evidence here, back to page 183. It's the first page of the story. And I'm going to find expanded in, let's see what paragraph. I'm going to find it in paragraph 2. And remember how to find paragraphs. There's an indentation. It says, the rock beneath them grew and expanded until it reached the clouds. So I think a synonym for that would be to grow. Okay, so now I want you to go back and find these words in your story, in your reader, your orange reader workshop book. And unharmed, I'm going to tell you, is on page 184. Give you a clue. And scale, you're going to find on page 185. Okay? So for those two, actually I want you to also type out expanded. Even though I gave you the example, I still want you to type it out. And that is found on page 183. Okay? So you're going to fill in the Google Doc synonyms for these words, words that mean the same. Okay? And then also in the Google Doc, I want you to tell me about the setting. Where did the story take place? And then I want you to find text evidence to prove that that's where you think the setting is, where the story takes place. Because you are going to show me a quote and you're going to say on page, whatever the page is, in paragraph, and you're going to tell me the paragraph, and you're going to count the paragraphs to tell me what paragraph. just like we were doing in class, in school we were doing this. So on page blank, in paragraph blank, that's going to be the text evidence for the setting. And all of this is going to be typed out in a Google Doc for you, but I'm just giving you a preview of what to think about. Okay? Well, that was a great story. I really like that. So as much as you need, you can rewind this video. You can reread the text to help answer your questions. All right? All right, have fun.